Alright, what's up YouTube? We're back with another video. So today I watched a Rob Scallon video. If you haven't seen his channel, you definitely need to go check his channel out. He recently made a video with Carolina Ick? Not really sure how you say her last name, but she is a professional theremin player. And I've never heard of the theremin before. It's a... I mean, I don't know how to explain it. I'm not going to act like I know how to explain it, but basically you just use... You don't grab anything. You just use your hands. And I watched that video and I was like, this is insanity. So I checked out her channel. So in one of her videos, she is doing a cover of The Ecstasy of Gold, the song by Ennio Morricone. So that song was made for The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, which is a great movie. So today what we're going to do is we're going to sample her cover of that song, and we're going to add in a Good, Bad, and the Ugly quote, and we're going to turn her song into a beat. So let's get started. Alright, so here we have the audio from her video. So what we're going to do with this is we are going to warp this into the right time signatures that we want. So right now I'm just going to keep the BPM at 120 because we're just going to go for a normal beat. I'm not going to go for anything special. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to listen to this and I'm going to figure out what her first bar is. Alright, it's looking pretty good, so I'm just going to throw in some warp markers just to make it a little bit better, but it's already basically on time, so I don't really have to mess with that much. Alright, so right here is going to be where the bass drops when she starts actually playing the theremin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do Control E to just cut out this and delete that and then duplicate it. Let's see if it sounds good. Yeah, it sounds great. Alright, so now that we have the general layout of what we want her audio to be, I'm going to grab both of these and turn this into Complex Pro. Every time you warp an audio track, I recommend turning it into Complex Pro because that's just going to take out some of the little bad sounds, the stretching that you usually do when you warp a song. Alright, so I'm going to delete this MIDI. So I have an audio right here and an audio right here. So I just want to kind of add a little chime in here. So I'm going to have her voice slowly come in, slowly fade in, and then right when it hits right here, we're going to have a little chime come in. So let's find a chime. I like this. Let's throw that in right here. Let's grab this, move it right here, and then move that right here just so it's on time. Let's maybe bring it up a little bit. That's nice. So let's duplicate all this out. Alright, so I want this chime just to be on the highs, so we're just going to throw in an EQ, take out the lows and most of the mids. Alright, that sounds great. Let's move on to a kick. Alright, so let's see how these kicks sound. We're getting a little bit of clipping in our master, so let's throw on a limiter. Solve that. Alright, now let's check out the kicks. So even though we warped the audio to fit just this bar, it's still a little bit off, so I'm just going to add some fine tunings to make it perfectly on time. There we go, sounding much better. Alright, so here's a good mastering tip. If you throw in an EQ8, you have stereo, left, right, and mid-side. So left, right, you can flip what you want the left ear and the right ear to hear, depending on the EQ. So let's solo the kick and let's see what that sounds like. Alright, and then you have mid-side. So usually what you want to have is your mids to be the bass and the kick mainly, and then sides to be on the highs. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to make the kick, take out all the sides on the kick, and then on the chimes we want to take out all the mids on the chimes and just make the chimes on the sides. So that's going to help your track from being super muddy. Alright, so let's move this over to our chimes, but we want to do it the opposite way, so I'm going to click on side, and I want it just on these highs. And then I'm going to go to mid, and I'm going to take all the mid out. So now let's listen to the chimes. Alright, so as you can tell, you can't hear anything after you take out the mids and these chimes. So a good way to make you be able to hear something on your sides is to add some reverb. So let's throw on that reverb. Now you can hear the chimes, but they're really quiet. So let's throw on a glue compressor and just bring the audio up. Much better. Alright, so before I work on snares and hi-hats and anything, I'm going to kind of distort the audio when the drop happens and make some random parts happen at random times, kind of like what I did in my Flume video, showing you how to make an EDM track. So if you haven't seen that video, go check it out. So the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to duplicate this track. Alright, so the way I'm going to distort this audio is I'm going to grab, let's say, like this right here, hold down Control, move it, let's say, right there. So now let's solo both these tracks and give this a listen. Let's maybe do the same thing on a little bit more parts. That sounded awful, so let's take that out. Jeez. That sounded awful. So as you can tell, this is kind of a trial and error kind of thing, and I took out most of the things that I did. So it's going to take you a while to kind of get what you want to have. Alright, so I want my snares to be layered, so let's go ahead and do that. Alright, so now that I have both snares that I want, I'm going to grab all these snares and I'm going to make them hit a little bit before the other snare, just to make it sound a little more interesting, like that. And then I'm going to grab these snares and move them a little bit far. There we go. Now let's give this a listen. Alright, so if you cannot hear, that's my computer spazzing out, but we're just going to push through it. So I grabbed a Clint Eastwood audio from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. One of the greatest quotes of all movies. Not really, but it's up there. And then I also added some hi-hats, with the second hi-hat being a little less loud as the first one, because that's how you want to make hi-hats a little more interesting. Alright, so let's give the movie quote a listen. As you can see, I kind of have it fade in.
See, in this world, there's two kinds of people, my friend. You dig.
Alright guys, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe. We're almost at 1K, which is huge. Big thanks to Carolina, Rob, and Enio. I'm going to touch up the beat a little bit, and I'm going to put it on SoundCloud for all y'all to hear, and that link is going to be down below. The Theremin's the best instrument ever made.
See, in this world, there's two